Hi, I'm Pat Dougherty. I'm the owner of the Tavern Restaurant. The neat thing about State College and also the Tavern is that people are comfortable no matter why they're here or how they're dressed. You can have students coming straight from class, sit beside business people who are here for a conference, and they both feel comfortable.
Patrick Daugherty was a man of many hats, a restaurateur, an engineer, the United States Army National Guard captain, a storyteller, an avid supporter of his State College community, and, perhaps most importantly, a kind, genuine, and generous individual, beloved by many. Pat was a licensed professional engineer who first worked at the Tavern Restaurant in State College while earning bachelor's and master's degrees at Penn State. In 1980, Dougherty and partner Bill Tucker purchased the Tavern from original owners Ralph Yeager and John Jace O'Connor, who opened it in 1948. Tucker retired in 1986, but Dougherty carried on as the face of the downtown State College institution for 40 years.
I met my wife at the Tavern. Many people did. It's because Pat and Ruth made it a great place to work. And Pat was more than a boss. He was a friend. He stayed friends with both Jen and I for more than 25 years. And Pat was passionate about the Tavern, but not simply about the business. He was passionate about the people, the customers, the community, and most importantly, the employees. When we were in school, most of the employees there were full-time students, and he remembered and cared about each and every one of them. The cheerleaders, the scientists, the computer engineer majors, field hockey players, and hospitality management majors. He remembered boyfriends and girlfriends, failed tests, and the funny stories that occur every day in restaurants. He cared about the industry. He fought for issues that were important for all of us, not just his restaurant. He engaged with politicians, both federal and local, with ease on each side of the aisle. He loved his community. He cared about State College and the people that lived there. He loved Penn State, helping to raise money for scholarships, including the Tavern Alumni Association Scholarship. He loved the sports teams, hosting many of them for their training tables, having the coaches in for dinner, even hosting the opposing coaches when they come to town. Jen and I will miss Pat greatly. Every time we visit State College, we remark how things simply aren't quite the same. But his legacy will live on forever in the hearts of those that knew him. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for making all of us better people. Thank you for showing us what it's like to be a caring person. I am sure you are sitting up in the big B section of the sky, just waiting for the next person to come in so you could say hello.
Pat served as chairman of the board of what was then the Pennsylvania Restaurant Association in 2002. Pat's committed leadership and stewardship of the association, particularly during this transformational period, cannot be overstated. Pat and his wife, Ruth, rarely missed a meeting, and his insight enhanced every conversation and decision-making process that he took part in.
Years ago, when several of us were working together to combine separate trade associations and into what became PRLA, Pat's support and vision for what could be achieved as a united industry was essential to getting that task over the finish line. Those conversations weren't always easy, and when frustration levels rose in the room, it was typically Pat that would talk us all off the ledge and remind us to focus on the challenges and opportunities we faced. Even those that disagreed with his positions, I never heard one person speak with anything but admiration and respect, both then and thereafter. On a personal level, Pat always made you feel like you were the most important person in the room. His ability to tell a story was extraordinary. He captivated whoever he was speaking with, remembering details, names, dates, situations that brought his story and history to life. He was also a great listener. He always seemed to know when to speak and when to be that incredibly helpful sounding board, as anyone who ever knew him well can attest. Lastly, I need to touch on the character of this special man. Pat was a man of impeccable integrity, who was also fun. He had a great sense of humor and absolutely made the most of his extraordinary abilities. As a family man, civil engineer, reservist, restaurateur, civic leader, and friend, everything he took on, he brought more to the table than most, despite his diverse and time-intensive interests and responsibilities. His team at the much-loved Tavern Restaurant was truly family, as he kept track of and mentored those long removed from the ranks of paid staff. Above all, Pat was an incredibly loving and generous man. He demonstrated genuine interest in the people he met and worked with, and was always there to lend a helping hand. His humble generosity in helping those in need is legendary. He truly made the world a better place, and for that we should all be thankful.
Pat Dougherty was my friend, my mentor, my colleague for more than 25 years. We came up in this association together, so to speak, and he was someone in the very beginning I looked up to and took advice from. We were in a lot of financial trouble in the late 90s, and we had our own offshore rent-a-captive insurance agency, insurance deal with workers' comp. It was a nightmare, and it was a snaggled issue. And single-handedly, over the course of a couple of years, Pat, smarter than the actuaries and the people involved, got us out of that mess. He was always the guy that during a meeting, we'd be for something or against something, and everybody would be talking, and we'd be going in one direction, and all of a sudden, Pat would speak up and say something. We'd all look at each other and go, oh, I didn't think of that. Pat just did so many things for Penn State, for his own restaurant, for the restaurant industry, and for the PRLA family.
Pat truly understood the meaning of hospitality and lived his life in service of others. His impact on the association, to his community, and the hospitality industry as a whole will not be forgotten.
I've been asked to say a few words about my friend of over 35 years, Pat Doherty. First, I want to say that the PRLA would not be where it is today without the stellar guidance and leadership of Pat. We are known as one of the foremost and strongest hospitality associations in the United States. And that's all because of you, Pat. Pat, you have been a friend and a mentor to all of us at the PRLA. You have been insightful, thought-provoking, and focused in all of our major decisions. On a personal note, I am thankful for our friendship, your sense of humor, your advice, and your support through the years have been so valuable to me. I will miss our chats, our texts, and our get-togethers, Pat. I have missed you every day since you left us. We are all forever grateful and better off for having known you. Congratulations on the PRLA Lifetime Achievement Award, now and forever known as the Pat Doherty Lifetime Achievement Award. How wonderfully appropriate and deserving. See you on the other side, Pat, and please save a seat at the table for me.
It is the pleasure of the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association to honor Patrick Daugherty with the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award.